Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. My name's Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my friend Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
So we are continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. We're starting a new chapter. It's chapter 22, Salvation and the Holy Relationship, and we're going to read the introduction today. So Lori, go ahead and take the first paragraph.
Take pity on yourself, so long enslaved. Rejoice, whom God hath joined, have come together, and need no longer look on sin apart. No two can look on sin together, for they could never see it in the same place and time. Sin is a strictly individual perception, seen in the other, yet believed by each to be within himself. And each one seems to make a different error, and one the other cannot understand. Brother, it is the same, made by the same, and forgiven for its maker in the same way. The holiness of your relationship forgives you and your brother, undoing the effects of what you both believed and saw. And with their going is the need for sin gone with them. Mm.
So we were talking a little bit, Lori, right before we started, right? So we were
Mhm.
touching on this because we were discussing, how different people look at the idea of sin and also forgiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I when I see the word sin in the course, I tend to think of the thought of separation, of a mind separate from God. And
Doing what?
pardon me.
Doing what?
Um,
Why is that a bad thing, right? Because sin is supposed to be a bad thing. So mind separate from God is what?
um, well, I guess I hold it as something that needs to be healed. It is a bad thing in the eyes of the ego. It's something that the ego mind um, feels fearful of God, and so
Yeah. And why does he feel fearful of God? What does the ego think it has done to God?
well, it thinks that it has taken or kind of usurped the power of God, that God is somehow, I don't know, I guess I'm not sure what words I want to say there.
Yeah. So the idea of sin, as far as the ego goes, is the belief that God can be attacked,
uh,
right? So in separation, the ego, it believes that it has accomplished an attack on God because God is no longer whole. If a part of it can uh, change itself to be on its own and not be a part of God, then it has left its creator, right?
right,
So,
right.
so that would mean that the ego would have to be more powerful than God to be able to accomplish that. So yeah, it believes it has usurped the power of God and that it is greater than God.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
it
uh-huh.
says, and that's why it says that sin is a strictly individual perception.
Yes, because it's an insane thought.
Yeah.
Okay. And what we see as sin is going to be our own interpretation of that original ego separation thought.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's always the idea of attack uh, in what we look at as sinful.
Yes. And that is what needs to be healed by, I guess, joining. Um, it says by to undoing the effects of what we both or what we all believed. They made my seal forgiven for its maker the same way.
Hmm. Because it's really an imaginary thought. When we look at someone and we judge them to be doing, or when we judge ourselves to be committing a sin, right?
Hmm.
There's the idea of condemnation. The idea of a sin is something that is an attack on God, and you're going to pay for it with punishment. So that's where there's fear. That's where the fear comes in.
Uh-huh. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So anytime that we experience fear, anytime that we experience guilt, we're looking or perceiving sin
Hmm.
in some form.
And is that why, because I don't want to look at that within myself, then that's why I attack what appears to be someone, outside myself.
Yeah, so that's projection, right?
Right.
And that's what line 4 says. Sin is a strictly individual perception seen in the other. That's projection, yet believed by each to be within himself. So that's repression. Okay.
Mm.
So we try to get rid of it by seeing it in the other, but because it's really within ourselves, we don't get rid of it. Uh,
So,
yeah, we just split the mind so we can hide the repressed unconscious belief. Yeah.
so the um, repression of that thought is what leads, or I guess that's why, so we just project it out onto everyone else and everything else, and thus I become a victim.
Yes, because we have to, um, uh, let's see, in order to believe in sin, we have to believe that there's separation and attack. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any sin, right?
It's yeah. And once it sounds like it should be so easy to reverse it.
Well, when you go down deep enough and you see that it is impossible for anyone or anything to attack God, because God is all powerful and God is everything. So there can be nothing outside of God.
Hmm.
Okay. So when you recognize the atonement, which says the separation never happened, the ego thought system is an insane thought system. Okay. And insane thoughts are not real.
So that's where the tiny mad idea came into.
It's a tiny mad idea. And as long as we believe it, then we are giving power to insane thoughts that are not true.
Yes.
And so that's what the mind is going to project, and that's what we're going to see in the world. We're going to see attack and destruction and death and punishment because those are all part of the belief in sin and fear and guilt.
Yes. Um, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so the answer that the Holy Spirit gives us is to practice forgiveness, right?
Yes.
Because the course is teaching us that to forgive is to overlook what my brother did, because we're recognizing that it's the problem is in our mind. It's our interpretation of what my brother did that's the problem. It's not really what my brother did. It's that we're seeing sin in what my brother did.
So my
And
brother
that's,
did exactly as I asked him.
well,
In that
yeah,
respect,
yes, because if I'm having that experience, then I must have wanted to have that experience because I'm projecting that. That's what I'm seeing and that's what I'm experiencing. So the beliefs that are in my mind are showing me what I want to see. That's why it's not my brother's fault. I mean, my brother's still responsible, okay, for his actions, but I'm responsible for the interpretation of his actions. And
yes.
yeah, and that's where I have the decision um, to choose love or fear and to remain in peace or to go into conflict.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm Yeah, and this paragraph is just saying that there is no separation. Line 6, the same error. We're making the same error. Brother, it is the same error made by the same self because there's only one self in truth. Separation never happened. It's a misperception.
Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore forgiven for its maker in the same way. So we are the makers of the error.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just writing.
Yes. Yeah, and then line 7 is explaining to us that healing comes from the holiness of our relationship, which forgives you and your brother, and therefore it undoes the effects of what you both believed and saw, okay, which was an error, which it was the effect of an error. And with their going is the need for sin gone with them. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, so the reason why we have a need for sin is because we want to justify our attack, right? How do we justify our attack on other people? Oh,
yeah.
well, they did something bad to me. They hurt me,
Right.
or they attacked someone else and I had to protect them, or they deserve it because, they did something awful or whatever, sinful.
Sinful.
So, yeah, sinful, and therefore they're deserving of punishment. That's the definition of sin is deserving of punishment and undeserving of love, which means no forgiveness. So we hold on to the grievance, and grievance in the mind is the root of sickness because it's a denial of the truth of our perfect creation as holy and innocent by God.
Yes.
Mhm. And that's why forgiveness heals, right? Because we forgive, we let go of the grievance. And so the mind now recognizes its holiness as God created it. And 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 that's inner peace. And inner peace is health. It shows up as health in the body, in the mind. Because the body, remember, is just a reflection of the mind.
It's neutral, right? The body's
It's it's neutral. It's just like anything else in the world. It's only going to reflect back our own thoughts.
was a communication
Yeah.
device.
Instrument. Yeah. hmm
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead with paragraph 2 then. Who has need for sin? Only the lonely and alone who see their brothers different from themselves. It is this difference, seen but not real, that makes the need for sin, not real but seen, seem justified. And all this would be real if sin were so. For an unholy relationship is based on differences, where each one thinks the other has what he has not. They come together each to complete himself and rob the other. They stay until they think that there's nothing left to steal and then move on. And so they wander through a world of strangers, unlike themselves, living with their bodies perhaps under a common roof that shelters neither, in the same room and yet a world apart.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a really well, let's see, described special relationship. An unholy relationship is a special relationship.
Yes. And it's based on differences.
It's based on differences. And I would say that it's based on inequality because what we're perceiving is that someone else has what we don't have and we want it
Yeah.
because, yeah, because we think we're incomplete and therefore we're trying to complete ourselves at the expense of the loss to another. So it's fundamental belief in scarcity.
Mm.
And it's a body identification because once we identify with a body, then we compare and we can see differences. And then,
Right.
and then the whole survival thing kicks in because the body needs to survive. As
It is a survival mechanism.
yeah,
Yes.
there's yeah, uh-huh,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Clear.
and yes. So the identification with the body um is going to reflect the ego, um, the belief in the ego, because it's only the lonely and the alone who see their brothers different from them. Um, so that's the belief in separation there. I'm on my own, you know. If I'm on my own, then I have to be alone, and I have to survive.
Right. And it
Yeah.
puts us in survival mode.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, because I have to fend for myself.
hmm
Yeah. Hmm.
which perpetrates the whole idea of an attack. And
Yeah, it justifies attack. Exactly. Um, yeah, I've had people, who've done things because it mentions here, line 8, the world of strangers, but it really talks about not so much strangers, but maybe families or husband and wife, some kind of partners, because it says living line 8. And so they wandered through a world of strangers, unlike themselves. See, living with their bodies perhaps under a common roof. Well, that would be a family unit, some kind of family unit. And in the same room and yet a world apart. So that would be a body-body partnership, some kind of
mm,
partnership. Yes.
it's
So
kind of automatic. Like, I know when I walk into a room, whether it's my house or I'm with at a party or I'm at a restaurant or wherever, immediately I can sense my ego mind sizing up the space that I'm walking into.
uh-huh. In terms of safety, you mean?
Yeah, in terms of safety, who's like me, who's different from me, it may happen very quickly now. But yeah, definitely, in terms of what do I need to be aware of in this situation? And
Yes.
so, and it's like the ego mind always speaks first. Even, I've noticed it less and less, or maybe it's just, it's there, but it's not as loud as it used to be. When
Uh-huh.
we're constantly, at least sizing up situations that to prevent attack. So it's actually a defense mechanism. It just seems to be there.
Yeah, it's like your alert mode. You go into alert mode.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes now I can just acknowledge it and say, yeah, thanks for sharing. Uh, you know, and there are moments when, yeah, I do feel afraid of maybe some body harm might happen, but I know that it's then that's ego speaking.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of like where the lessons come are very can be very helpful because some of those lessons will remind us, God goes with me wherever I go, you know, or God is the strength, with which um let's see, God is the strength with which what is that one? God is the strength with which I think.
Think God is
Yeah,
the strength in which I do anything,
exactly. Yes,
in which
yes.
I heal.
Uh,
I know I can't think of the exact word now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, number three, Lori.
A holy relationship starts from a different premise. Each one has looked within and seen no lack. Accepting his completion, he would extend it by joining with another, whole as himself. He sees no difference between these selves, for differences are only of the body. Therefore, he looks on nothing he would take. He denies not his own reality because it is the truth. Just under heaven does he stand, but close enough not to return to earth. For this relationship has heaven's holiness. How far from home can a relationship so like to heaven be?
hmm
Mm,
Yeah, so I mean, this is a really good way of looking at trying to understand, the holy relationship uh, versus the unholy relationship, because it's telling us, the difference here is the premise.
right?
Yeah, and the unholy relationship foundation is scarcity, it's lack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that comes from the belief in separation and being an ego body.
Yes.
hmm
Uh, and that's where the lessons are really great. It's, to keep my thoughts on a holy relationship with anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I am as God created me, which is
Yes.
whole and complete. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the relationship is not one of trying to get anything. It's one of extension or sharing. That's line three. He would extend it. Accepting his completion, he would extend it by joining with another, whole as himself. So that's love.
Mm-hmm.
Love is extended. So there's no projection there.
Um, yeah, and it works that way. It just really
Yeah.
works, you know.
hmm
Um, it's
Yeah. And there's the line four. He sees no difference between these selves. So there's no comparison. There's no inequality because we're both created as God created us.
yes.
So we're basically, the same.
In,
So
in
one,
the in the mind of God, yes.
we're one self, as a loving creation of God, eternally loving creation. And the differences are only of the body. And the body is not, let's see, is not validated because the mind recognizes that it is just a projection of a belief that is an error.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. And then, that holy relationship is basically is true perception, Holy Spirit vision. And that's basically as far as what the course is teaching, removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's kind of where we are finished with the course because after that is how far from home can a relationship so like to heaven be? Well, it's not far at all. So the last step is taken by God, and that's knowledge, which is the
Right.
undoing of all perception. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that, well, I think of knowledge, I forget, isn't the last step where does revelation?
Well, revelation is an experience that of knowledge. So it's a direct communication with God.
Mm,
So yes, you can have a revelatory experience because that is a direct experience of knowledge. Yeah.
okay. All right.
Hmm. Okay, number 4. Think what a holy relationship can teach. Here is belief in differences undone. Here is the faith in differences shifted to sameness. And here is sight of differences transformed to vision. Reason now can lead you and your brother to the logical conclusion of your union. It must extend as you extended when you and he joined. It must reach out beyond itself as you reached out beyond the body to let you and your brother be joined. And now the sameness that you saw extends and finally removes all sense of differences, so that the sameness that lies beneath them all becomes apparent. Here is the golden circle where you recognize the Son of God. For what is born into a holy relationship can never end.
Hmm. Yeah, very nice.
Hmm. Um, yes. So this is the joining is at the level of the mind. So the holy relationship is one of joining of the minds, right? So
Mm,
that we recognize that the body does not have a mind of its own. There is just one mind, and that we share with God, and it's the Christ mind.
yes.
Yeah. And that's what line 9 says. That's here's the golden circle where you recognize the Son of God, which is the Christ mind. Just one self, one capital S self.
Mhm. Yeah, it's amazing on this move that I've been doing, um, moving to a new place and all the um, my mindset has I mean, I have been approaching everybody, just kind of automatically been happening that I've been encountering from the landlady to my neighbors to all the different physical aspects of having to move and contact people and companies, to get it's like it's just been miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
um, because it hasn't been as much about the actual physicalness of having to get all these things taken care of and having a place to live as much as it's been my relationship with each person that I've encountered.
Mm-hmm.
And it just has made it really amazing. And then if I get caught up in trying to, in my ego mind of trying to do things a certain way, it's very tiring.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But when I am able to release that and choose again, um, it's like the holy relationship. It's just they just happen. It's like the ease, the love. Um, yeah, it really is. It's like that line must reach out beyond itself as you reached out beyond the body. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's the God mind that's
Mm-hmm.
connecting, making the level of connection.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And to let you and your brother be joined because the course, makes a little distinction and it says that we want to join with our brother, not with a dream. You see what I'm saying? So when we meet someone, we don't want to go to the level of the body. That's part of the dream of separation. That's part of the perception of differences. So we want to go to the level of the mind, uh, where our true self resides. And so that's how we join our brother and not join the dream.
Yeah,
So from that level, we can have a holy relationship with anyone and everyone in the world.
and it
And,
happens that way.
and it
I think.
happens, yeah, because it's Holy Spirit vision. You see,
Yeah.
the body's eyes are not the ones that are in charge there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Okay, so that's the introduction. Anything before we stop, Lori?
um, did we do five? Don't we have to do five?
Did we skip Uh, is there
Right.
a paragraph 5?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why here it says the next section. Is there an ad or what?
Well, in my book,
There
it's
is there is another. Let me go to the next section here. See, it completely skips it.
huh. Well, you
We
want me to
can
read?
we can read it. Yeah. 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 We can read from the book. There is a paragraph 5. Thank you for catching that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. It says, reason now can lead you and your brother to the logical conclusion of your union. It must extend as you extended when you and he joined. It must reach out beyond itself as you reached out beyond the body to let you and your brother be joined. And now the sameness that you saw extends and finally removes all sense of differences, so that the sameness that lies beneath them all becomes apparent. Here is the golden circle where you recognize the Son of God. For what is born into a holy relationship can never end. That's kind of a summary of the introduction.
Yeah. That's interesting. It kind of repeats
I
the other one.
see. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where you are. Okay. That's
That
the
let
mystery
me
of the Holy
yeah, let
Ghost.
me go back. It was salvation. It was introduction. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
you know what I think happened? It says reason now. I think it started on paragraph 4, think what a holy relationship can teach, but then it ended here on the screen in paragraph 5. So I think what happened here, right here on line 5, is
Uh,
they just forgot to put a paragraph there.
oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Okay.
But then paragraph four, yeah, I'm looking at it in the book. Paragraph four is very short. It's just those few lines.
Oh, you know what it is, Lori? In the book, that
Hmm.
little tiny 5 at the top of page 468,
Yeah,
that's not a paragraph number, that's a line
that's a
number.
sentence number.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a sentence number. So actually, so this is
reread it.
fine. This is fine right here.
I guess we needed to hear it again.
We need to hear it again, and it also really demonstrates the how perception is very confusing. Do you know what I'm seeing? You know, because the seeing with the body's eyes is so inaccurate. You know, you could look at that tiny little 5 on page 468 and think, oh, that's paragraph 5. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so that's why we want to question. We don't want to believe everything we see. You know, our 5 senses are inaccurate. They're not trustworthy. So that's why, you double check. I know I double check myself every time I, have to do any kind of writing or work or whatever. Because the seeing with the body's eyes is not very consistent. Yeah.
Seems like for me, the eyes are the most distracting sense. I mean, people who are blind or who were born blind and are able to, learn through the other senses, through touch and smell and all this. I just wonder if it's
Uh,
easier to be less judgmental.
it is because the eyes uh seem to show us images, okay?
Hmm.
And images are really just imagination. You see, image making. All right. So everything the body's eyes see is imagination. So um it's a dream. That's why the whole physical world is a dream. It's an illusion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's interesting. But
But we learn, all of our past learning and conditioning uh says that there is a separate world out there. When we identify with a body, we seem to believe that the world that is out there is real as far as images go.
yes.
Yes, so matter we confuse with reality.
Hmm.
Um, and and it is the symbol of separation. It's a projection of the belief in separation. So that's why the ego thought system shows us an upside down version of reality. It doesn't show us reality. We just think it's reality, but it's upside down.
Yes. And
Hmm.
I I just got an insight into. I have a friend who is blind and she's a painter. And I went to a show of blind painters. Now, when I was getting ready to go to the show, I couldn't even begin to picture why somebody who's blind would want to do paintings. But I went to the show and the paintings were very interesting. But I just got that what they're seeing in their mind is that's where their canvas is.
Yes,
And then what shows up on the canvas that I'm seeing is just a reflection of maybe something they're seeing in their mind, but they can't actually see the canvas. They can only see what's in their mind.
but
It
that's
was
yeah,
fascinating.
but isn't that the same for us?
Yeah, I know. That's why I just got it.
Yeah, there's nothing out there. It's all in our mind.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the Course says the body's eyes don't see. They're not really seeing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the mind asleep, dreaming a dream. Yeah.
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 That's great.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
So, okay, great. Okay, Lori. Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
joining.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.